fast life, the fast living. They see the ambition, they know I'm past driven. Look, we are not the same, this is not a game. I be swerving through the city in and out of lanes. Yeah, cause if I see it, then I want it, then you better know I got it. Ain't no options, I'm about to do the damn thing. I'm an outlaw.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
And today we are back to discuss Godfather of Harlem. This is season 3, episode 9, titled We Are All Kings. Before we get the discussion started, please make sure you click that subscribe button, the notification bell, and the like button. All of those things will help us to grow, and you will be supporting your favorite recap channel. So do that. And now we can start talking about this episode. So, you know, Colombo was trying to make some moves. He was definitely trying to negotiate things in his favor so that he could have the families on his side of things. And, you know, initially it kind of worked out. He was like, you know, this is going to be the biggest shipment in history. We're going to have 3 times as much product. And so he's saying, you know, I can make sure that all the families are straight. Y'all get y'all cut. And I just need Harlem. And they initially agree. But I don't think anybody was expecting Chin to get out of jail.
Yep.
So that was the big curveball this episode. And apparently Chin got out due to some mistakes on the behalf of the FBI. So some technicality got him out the Bing. And so he's coming home. And of course he wants Stella at his party. Like, that's all he's asking about. And, you know, this whole beef with him and Colombo does not help the fact that Stella is like siding with Colombo. You know, she's not ready to come home, you know, and so that's kind of like adding fuel to the flame in this whole beef that they have going on.
I was just gonna say, and Olympia gonna say, forget Stella. Like, how you gonna say that to somebody's father? I mean, you know, like, that's his child.
Olympia should be happy she's still alive.
Well, yeah,
in front of her.
He came within an inch of getting that happy face on his neck with a razor. So, yes. I mean, that was, well, you know, I guess impulsive. You know, you just make comments, but that could have been.
Look, and we don't condone domestic violence here on the Spot Real Talk, but Olympia,
but we should talk about it.
She got the hands, all right.
Yeah, she did, and she tried to get Stella up out of there. Like, how you think that was going?
Exactly. You know, he put Tommy in his place too, because Tommy was out there lying about the hit. Chin doesn't even know about the affair at this point, so both of them should be happy that they're still alive.
Well,
both
you know,
Tommy and Olympia.
Tommy lost 2 fingers. He's lucky he didn't lose his life, because had Colombo. I know somebody on our comments said something about, I said something about I like Colombo, and they said, you know, something to the effect, I can't remember, but
I don't know, but I kind of do too.
But they were saying something about his criminality and how I can like it, and whatever the case may be. And it's not to say that I like the criminal aspect. I just like there's a good nature in him in some respects that you can see, because
I think I like the actor too that is portraying Colombo.
Definitely, and I like his. I like the character. I like how he expresses himself, and and too, he did take good care of Stella, and the fact that enough so that Stella surprised me. I didn't expect. I thought Stella would always. I know.
Early on, I did not say early on that something was going to happen, because first of all that time that they were spending together. I mean, you know, and then when you're in close situations, like situations of trauma and things like that.
And Colombo's very charismatic too. So.
He is very charismatic, and he did take good care of her, and she had to right the ship because she lied.
Right.
And the thing is, her dad, you know, it's one thing to be protective of your kids. I get it. I loved how he loves his child, but at the same time, like she said, it's very controlling. It's almost it's real obsessive like.
That relationship seems like it goes a tad over father-daughter.
Yeah.
As far as he's concerned. Yeah,
and Stella seems to know him really well. She's like, you know, he's going to come back after you. You might want to skip town, and he kind of refused it. So it's
he's a G.
You know,
I mean,
and Chen even told him himself, like, you should leave Harlem. And I don't know if things are going to end well for Colombo, because like getting 2 warnings to leave town and you don't listen.
No,
I don't know. He might be out of here.
well, the way he is, and Shin with Stella reminds me of Scarface. The way Tony Montana was about his sister, like it was really like he was really protective and really obsessive, almost to the point they're like, "Dang, do you want her?"
But Stella did say something this episode. She talked about her father and how control is like his thing, and she was saying like all that, you know, the money and the drugs and whatnot, it comes behind the aspect of control. And I think that's what it is. It's not even the fact that Stella doesn't want to come home. I think it's the fact that Stella won't come home from Colombo. And, you know, Chen really wants to control that situation because Colombo is his enemy at this point.
Well, Chen still holds that card of what Tommy and his wife was doing. Because I'm going to tell you, if Chen plays that card.
No, Colombo has that info.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. If Colombo plays that card, Chen will turn his aggression back to Tommy and his wife. You know, he damn near killed his wife with that choking situation. But
I'm still wondering to Stella, you know, because we saw her tell him that she did the hit, but after that we don't know. Like, you know, we saw that he was just standing there. We don't know what else she told him, because for all I know, she might have already told him that. And he might.
You taking the words out of my mouth.
He might keeping that close to the vest.
I don't know, because he's already unchained. But the way he grabbed his wife after look, when he found out that, you know, his wife put a hit out on his daughter, that sent him over the top. Now imagine having that with Tommy, who he doesn't like anyways. And Tommy's banging his wife while he's in jail.
I think he cared more about Stella than
right.
No, he does. But I'm saying when you add, you know, it's a multiplication factor.
Yeah.
You know, Stella times wife in jail, and you and Tommy banging his wife.
Because the fact remains, like she had her little negligee on that she got from Italy,
right?
And he's been in the Bing all this time,
right,
and everything, and he wasn't even phased.
No,
right. He wanted to go in about Stella. So that lets you know. To me, you know, I think he's gonna be pissed. He's gonna be pissed. But
the thing that irritated me about Stella was that she has been wanting to get access to Chen to tell him the truth about her lying on Colombo. And when he showed up at her door, it didn't seem like she took that opportunity to say, like, I messed this whole situation up. I lied. Your beef with him is really because of me, and I shouldn't have started all this mess. But it doesn't seem like she went that far to tell him the truth of what she did.
And
which is kind of like why I was ticked off about her.
She did say what she told the lawyer was not that she truth. Exaggerated. Yeah,
right.
I feel like she could have done more.
But I think, but Chen is in that mode now. He just wants to get rid of Colombo, and you know what? Rightfully so, because Colombo is trying to take over, you know, the position. So, you know, I don't think she could say anything to Chen at this point. Yeah.
So what do you think about the offer that Colombo had at the end, where he and Jose kind of teamed up and offered Chen the casinos in Havana and CIA protection, and then enters Wild Bill, you know, kind of to back his claims that they actually do have CIA protection? You know, I was thinking about it from the perspective, that sounds like a pretty sweet deal, but we've seen that in the end, Chen still turned around and went to Bumpy and was like, let's take Harlem back.
And let me tell you something. As much as Chen turned to be a bigot against Bumpy, almost everything he said, you know, had some racial overtones. But he respects Bumpy enough to know that, and it showed here that, you know, even after the deal that was made with Wild Bill, I think he respects Bumpy enough, and he sees the freedom that he can have with Bill. Because, you know, in theory, who can he really trust?
He said that Bumpy was the only person he
could really trust. So I can
Mm-hmm.
feel that. I can see why, bygones be bygones. Let's do something, because he can grow much faster, with Bumpy than he can with these old heads that are doing the same old things, playing the same old game, and he wants to get something. He wants different. Get rid of Colombo and do something different.
Yeah, that whole thing with the CIA partnership, I mean, I think it sounded good on the surface of things, but I think he ultimately knows, like, he doesn't want to partner with Colombo, first of all, at all, period. He wants nothing to do with him. But, when you get in something that sweet, you got to know that it's going to come with some strings attached.
That snake is in the bag. It's going to come out and bite you sooner or later. You can't play with the CIA. They don't play. They play their own game. You'll never be a part of their game.
Wild Bill got to get the hands, the feet, everything. He need a baseball bat. We can get the straps to Wild Bill, because what he did to Elise was just like, it was beyond wicked. Like, he had recovered as an addict, and here you are trying to teach Bumpy a lesson, so-called. So, trying to show him, his place in things and the fact that you still have control, but you go after his daughter. You gotta know that Bumpy is coming back.
Yes, and that my fear was, that when he found her, like, he, Wild Bill said he's sending a message. Will he believe that Elise changed and has not relapsed, or will he recognize it for what it is, a message from?
Oh, I think he does. I think he will. In fact, when he got out of the car and saw her thrown on the sidewalk, he looked back.
He looks back.
He knows. Yeah, I mean, because Elise didn't just happen to fall on some drugs.
Absolutely.
Something happened. So,
I think she's gonna tell him too.
Well, I hope so. I hope so that she gets to the point that she can tell him,
she's messed up, right?
She is, but she probably still can say, like, it was a fat white guy. He pulled me in and told me that, you need to fall in line, basically. And on top of that, like, she missed the big trip to Detroit with Malcolm, and that was unusual. So Bumpy got to kind of like put the clues together. Like, why would she miss that? And it was such a big deal to her.
Yeah, but but Wild Bill didn't play his cards right at all, because if he thinks that Bumpy won't kill him,
he's got another thing coming.
Yeah,
exactly. We see what happened to Brother Clyde this episode,
right?
I mean,
with the swifty little switchblade.
He put a roadmap on Clyde's face. I mean, I wouldn't play with Bumpy at all. So I can't wait to see what happens in the finale, because there's some people that need to get their comeuppance, and Wild Bill is one of them. Clyde got what I'm glad Clyde got what he got.
Yep.
Because we all know that he bombed Malcolm's house, could have killed everybody in there. So he definitely got what he deserved.
Yeah.
So, but Wild Bill, you're gonna lose some weight.
Yeah.
A lot of weight.
Yeah.
We also heard what Malcolm said when he acknowledged, remember what we already knew, when he said he had accepted his fate.
Yep. Yes. And he was like, it's not like I don't want to live a long life and, die of old age. But he was like, my community and my cause is more important than what I want personally. And so he's just dedicated to the cause.
But I find that strange, because you can have both. And if you just get behind Bumpy and let Bumpy secure you in the fashion that Bumpy wants to, I mean, there's nothing to say that you can't have your cause and yet also be protected at the same time. It seems as if he's just kind of given up on living, and he wants to be a martyr. I know that's not.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think he had recognized.
Guys, no, I'm not saying that that's what and let me put it this way. I am not saying that he wants to be a martyr, but what I'm saying is, I know he's recognizing that everybody in every fashion is after him because of his comments and how he believes. But I'm saying you can live a little longer if you just let Bumpy take care of that, because I think Bumpy could do so.
Yeah, I think he could. I was just happy to see that Malcolm kind of recognized, what we were talking about last week, where he was upset with Bumpy, but the newspaper article came out saying that it was a credible threat and that people did make an attack on Shade's life. So, this week Malcolm acknowledged that and he thanked Bumpy. They actually apologized to one another.
Right.
Yeah. And so, like you said, I was hoping he would come around and take on some of Bumpy's protection again. But I think, going back to what Tiffany was saying, I think he recognizes it's his fate, and it's not like he wants it, but he knows there's nothing he can do to stop it because he's got it coming from every direction.
And especially think about the bigger cause, because at that point he had gone and met with Snick, and met with, MLK's team. We saw great Andrew Young, talking to him and stuff. Right. So they were talking about joining forces, and that would have made him an even bigger threat.
Most definitely.
That's part of the reason why neither one of them are here.
And it's sad that we didn't get a chance to see that, because here's one on nonviolence, and here's another one that's saying we're not violent, but we will protect ourselves, and you can't have both. Because I'm protecting myself, you can't say that that's violent. What about the imposing forces that are coming on me? You don't call that violent? So if I want to be able to protect myself, I have the right to do so. And it would have been great to see Malcolm and Dr. Martin Luther King come together and see what kind of coalition, what would have happened had that happened.
They were having those discussions, because even if you remember from the movie Selma, you saw Coretta talking to Malcolm. Like the families, that they were talking and they were trying to move in that direction. Mm-hmm. It just, Malcolm died before it could come to fruition. Oh. And then when MLK tried to continue on and he spoke out against the war, then that
people said, wait, we better slow this thing down. But that's the part, it's just unfortunate. We should have just kept pushing until they killed every single one of us. I mean, because I'm telling you, there's something to fighting. You got to defend yourself.
The strength in numbers.
And yes, definitely the strength in numbers and fighting and defending yourself. I don't care who you are. You have the right to do so.
Yeah. And, I was thinking, I think that since next week is the finale, I think it might be it for Malcolm. I think maybe that's the episode where he goes.
Yeah. It is.
And it's unfortunate. I just want to see how they do it. How this show portrays that. And, especially all that Bumpy has been doing in these episodes leading up to the death, to try to protect Malcolm. I want to see how it's going to affect Bumpy and Elise. And I want to see if Elise can overcome being drugged, because she worked so hard to get sober. I think she would be okay to make a comeback after this little hiccup, of being drugged.
I think if she's hospitalized, she can come over it, because she had so much going for her.
I'm hoping it doesn't send her into a spiral, though, because when somebody dies and you've been drugged, it could lead her down a dark road, and she starts using regularly again.
Right. That's my fear too.
It's a lot going on, and I'm worried for Elise. I'm worried for Bumpy, because he knows that Wild Bill actually did the bombing, and he's going to find out that Wild Bill drugged Elise. So his rage is going to be at an all-time high. And, he told Mamie already. He was like, you're not going to like a lot of things that I got to do to try to come up out this game.
Right.
So he forewarned her.
Did Battle know what Wild Bill was going to do? I'm trying to remember. Did he know?
So they talked. They said that. Well, wait, are we talking about Malcolm or Elise?
Oh, well, he said that, there was one way to make him, he may not have known that, but he knew he was going to do something.
Yeah, because he said we have to remind him who's in control.
And now I think, and you know what? Here's my early prediction that it would be a Battle that comes back to Bumpy and say, Wild Bill did this to your daughter.
Bumpy might go after Battle too.
I think that he may go after Battle, thinking that I just somehow I think Jose will come back and say, look, I know we've had our differences, but I can't agree with what Wild Bill did to your daughter. he's responsible for what happened to your daughter.
Bumpy's still not going to forgive him for what he's trying to do with Malcolm, though. He's done with him.
Right,
so
right.
Well, no. I don't say that. I'm not saying that that's going to build a coalition between them. I'm just thinking if I were Jose Battle, I would go to Bumpy and say, look, I know we're not friends, but I cannot, line up with what happened with your daughter. This was Wild Bill's doing, and end of story. What you do to Wild Bill, it's on you.
Well, my thing is, how can you do anything to Wild Bill without some blowback? He's going to have to be very strategic.
I don't think he gives a damn. You know what? That would send me into a rage. It's going to be real interesting to see how Bumpy controls himself, because that's his daughter.
Yeah, but you can't just kill a CIA.
You can kill you can kill a. Oh, I started to say something I shouldn't say. So let me check myself. About to say something I shouldn't have said. So yeah, you can get rid of him too.
Or does he try to go after someone in Wild Bill's family?
No, I don't think so. I think it's Wild Bill. Y'all, look, I'm telling you, Jose is gonna come back and say it could be Jose. Look, Wild Bill is dirty by reason of by any reason he's dirty. So I just want to see Bumpy revenge that, and I want to see it done. And I would like to see Battle step up and say, Bumpy, this is who it was.
Nah, I'm about done with Jose Battle. He can get the hands in my eyes.
Yeah.
I'm done with him too, but he could still step up and say something.
Yeah, he could. Mm-hmm. He could.
Yeah, he could. But I was happy to see Bumpy also confront Omar this episode too, because he was like, Omar was looking a little shaky for a second to a lot of people, and they came out and straight up asked him. But I think he's proven himself to be on the road to redemption. He's trying to do all he can to,
I want to see how he behaves in the season finale.
That's why I say, is he gonna still be on the security detail?
Yeah, that's all right. Where were you when this happened?
They mentioned that there were rumors about him being associated with Malcolm. So will the people, in the Nation of Islam look at him as a traitor, or is the news already widespread? How widespread is the news that he's sided with Malcolm, or what? So I don't know. It's a lot that could go down. I'm so looking forward to next week.
Well, look, how they do this. Think about Omar. Can you imagine when Omar gets word of what happened to Elise?
Oh, he is.
Oh, yeah. That's
a good point.
That's true. He's going to be.
Oh, my gracious.
Yeah, might be the one.
I started to say
that's true.
It might be
on a rampage.
Yeah,
we think about Bumpy.
Yeah, right. Omar, I got this.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good point. So we have so much to look forward to see how things end with Malcolm, to see how the response is from Bumpy and crew, and then to see what goes on with this situation with the Italians and Wild Bill. So I'm looking forward to the season finale. So far, everything, like every single episode, they have done a tremendous job of just like keeping us on the edge of our seat, keeping us guessing. And it's hard to do that with something that's based on a true story, right. Historically based.
History, yeah.
Yeah, so they've done a phenomenal job just keeping us engaged and keeping us on our toes. So I'm looking forward to next week.
I want to see where Colombo and Stella go. I want after that kiss. That's going to be interesting to see how far they go with this. Because Chen is, I guess he knows enough. But the fact that she sided with Colombo, this is a story to be had. I just want to see what happens with the three of them.
Yeah, I want to see how they handle it, because I was reading about the real Colombo, and it says that that at one point he did get shot, but he did not die. Then he was like paralyzed for a while and stuff. And I think later on in years, he died of cardiac arrest. But he, so I wonder if they're going to, stick to that.
Or maybe play it up a little bit.
Or, play it up for, take some creative liberties. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to thank all of our viewers out there. Please drop down in the comment section and give us your thoughts on this episode, as well as your predictions for the big finale next week. looking forward to reading you guys' comments. Also, make sure you subscribe to our channel, click that notification bell and the like button to show us some support. We are also on all social media platforms at The Spot Real Talk, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. So keep up with us there. And you guys have anything else you want to add before we close?
I'm good.
Nope.
I'm good too.
Okay, so on that note, we will call it a night. So please make sure you are all back here next week for the big recap of the finale. You are not going to want to miss that. I'm sure it's going to be on fire. So yes, we'll see you guys next week. And thanks again for watching.
Bye-bye.
I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check. I want the money, the power, respect, and I heard you know so-and-so, you not a threat, cause I really know so-and-so, they like my family, so they go pretend that they cool till they bust at your motherfucking chest. I'm getting gutter, my flow been like butter, my check in the bank, they see the number.